do an intro. Howdy y'all, my name's Tyler Fireball, and welcome to Blood, Dust, and Beers. Today I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to make this pen kit right here. It's a Gold Classic Elite Fountain Pen Kit. I'm talking step one to the last step. We're going to get the brass out of the bag. I'm going to show you how to mark the wood blank. I'm going to show you how to cut the wood blank, how to drill the wood blank, how to turn the wood blank into a pen, and then how to sand it, and then how to cover it with CA glue. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you don't want to watch my sweet intro, skip ahead 20 seconds. On to the fun. Alright guys, so let's get to this pen. First thing you do is open the package up and get the brass tubes out. It's the two brass tubes. Yeah, those are the ones you're looking for, and I'm making it out of curly maple. So we're going to start by marking the brass tubes length on the wood. And you want to go a little bit wider, maybe a 1/16 to an 1/8 wider than the tubes so that you can cut it off later. Being too short's bad. Alright, so one tube was longer than the other, so I wanted to mark it upper and lower so that I knew, and then I put a line so that the grain matched. It's good. Woo! Or not. This is the second time I've done that. So we're just gonna come over here. As it says, don't do this at home. I should have just busted out the handsaw and cut these. What's important here is you want to cut outside of the line towards the blank space on the blank. Yes, blank space on the blank. But you want to leave a little bit extra. Alright, so I made a little jig for drilling these out to keep it straight. First you mark those blanks like that. But I'll explain this jig better in another video in case y'all are looking to do something like that. So my drill press does not go long enough for it to reach all the way through the blank. So what I have to do here is I'm drilling into it to a certain depth, right, come back out so it doesn't bind up, and then raising the bed up a little bit. And that way you get you all the way through the blank. All the way through. And we're just going to do the same thing here for this other side. Pretty simple. Drill down, come back up so it doesn't get bound up, and then go all the way up to the top. So here we have to sand the blanks down to 220 so that they stick inside the tube. You don't want it to be sliding around or get on your lathe and the wood slide off the blank. And then we're going to get some CA glue right here. Stick fast CA glue medium is what I like to use for this. And then you liberally, and I mean liberally, apply this thing to the tube. And we're going to do this on both of them. You kind of, go back and forth and cover it pretty good. Well, wait, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. So once you cut off the cap because it's full of CA glue, like I let happen on this one, you start applying it to the brass tube. Now you want to kind of coat it as much as you can, and this stuff dries really quick. So push in the tube, twist it a little bit, and then what you want to do is get both sides evenly distanced apart from the wood on the ends. As you can see, it's a little bit inset as well. And we're just going to do the same thing on the other tube. Liberally apply it and then stick it in the hole. You know what I meant. Make sure it's equidistant apart from the edge of the wood on both sides. Now we're going to do some sanding. Be sure and wear a dust mask, some kind of respirator, something, so you don't inhale this stuff. What I'm doing here is on the bottom of the sander, I'm getting as much material off as I can. And then I'll pick it up and I'll hold it in about the middle to where I can hold it a little bit more level, because it seems to put a bevel on the edge of it at the bottom side. And then you do this on both sides of this blank until you hear the metal. What's key here is don't go too deep. Yep, I heard it. So what you want to do here is make sure your upper and lower are pointed at each other like you cut them before. And then you want to keep your tool in the middle of that mandrel for the pin. Alright, let's do some turning. It's my favorite part. First I use a diamond tipped chisel. And it's a lot easier. You're getting a lot of material off with that fine point. It doesn't make it smooth whatsoever. But as you can tell here in just a little bit. But it gets a lot of material off. Oh, there was a catch a little bit. That'll scare you to death. Make you poop your pants. When it jerks like that, yeah, nobody likes that. Nobody likes a jerk, you know what I mean? Alright, so this doesn't need much explaining. If you ever used a lathe before, you're just trying to get as much material off to where it's in a round shape to begin with. And then you can switch over to your round carbide tips or whatever you're using. See, like that. I'm using the round carbide tip. I don't know what you're using, but it seems to cut wood faster than the traditional wood cutting tools. So I use the round and I try to get the edges formed a little bit to where it's more of an oblong shape than a cylinder. Alright, so it seems a little wobbly. What? Did I just karate chop that? What an idiot. I'll get my Thor hammer out here in a second. But I thought it was closer, so I'm going to continue trying to get it a little bit closer to oblong, get it down closer to those metal pieces that you got to match. That's really important because that's where the pin kit, that's the size of the pin kit. Those metal pieces are the size of the pin kit, so you want to match those almost perfectly. This pin, it's a little bit different. The cap actually slides in on the brass tube, so you have to clean it all the way down to the brass tube, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Still trying to just let the lathe talk a little bit. I'm starting to realize that it's still out of whack, so I'm going to give it a little bit of a whack with the Thor hammer. You like those sound effects. I know you like those. Yeah, I'm a child.
That's pretty good.
So there's that little piece. You see that little raised piece? I got to get that down to the right size, all the way down to that brass tube. And I had never done that before in a pin, so I'm fixing to struggle like mad trying to get that thing down in there. without having the right tool. I imagine they make one that fits that exact size, but yeah, I don't have it. And that one just ain't cutting it. So I'm gonna have to do some MacGyver in here and get a different type of flat tool. But I am struggling. It is a struggle here. But this seemed to do a little bit better than the rounded tip on the diamond cutter. So to make sure it's about the right size, I use that little caliber deal. It's got to be exact, or the whole pin kit won't work. I'm still struggling through it. It's not that fun to watch. Still checking? Hear my chipmunk voice every once in a while? I just wanted to leave this in here so you knew how difficult this aspect of the pin was. 150, 240, 320, 400, 600. Got some pieces laid out. I'm going to start sand. Don't worry about that. Alright, so here we are. We're just going to go through the progressions of the sandpaper all the way up to 600. And it doesn't take that long, especially if you get it close to those metal pieces, the bushings on the ends. I decided you couldn't see me well enough, so I started sanding from the other side. And then I forgot about that completely and still sanded from that side. Anyways, so you turn it on, get a dab of glue on there. This has got to be real quick. You want to make sure it's smooth. And we'll do the same on this side. I don't know how that works with that piece we cut out there, because it can't get glue down in there. So let's see. You don't want to rub it too many times. You don't want to rub it too many times, or the paper towel will stick to it. I'm going to spray a little activator. Make sure there's no paper towel on it. Looks pretty good. A little piece sticking up here. No bumps to speak of. Alright, and you want to do this about 5 or 6 more times. Get about 7 layers on there with the CA medium. It's a little different when you use the thin CA glue. I've heard of people doing it like 20-30 times. And what is this music? I'm sorry about this music, but I'm going to keep it in there. It's kind of my jam. Hey, guess what? We're sanding 1,500 to 12,000 on this deal. It's a micro mesh. It actually is pretty quick. Just at this point, you're kind of tired of sanding a little bit. Now you get it wet, go both sides. It's a really, really quick process. See how it changes? That's that curly maple. I'm going to get down in there And I don't think there's too much glue built up on that piece. I think I should be good to try to assemble it now. Alright, on the assembling process, I can't really give you a step-by-step instructions on this deal. You just kind of have to stumble through it like I did, by reading the directions that comes with it, or by looking up the directions on the website from the place you bought the pin. They come with pretty detailed instructions, not destructions, because that you don't want to destroy what you just made, obviously. But yeah, pretty much just assembling it. I do want to mention that as I'm reading the instructions, I do want to mention that I don't have a fancy pin press or anything. I mean, that's probably pretty handy, but I just assemble it by pushing the pieces together with a clamp. And it seems to work pretty good for me. But that's my pin. Hope you liked my video. Consider liking and subscribing if it's worth your time, if you liked it, or my voiceover, whatever. But there's the shiny new curly maple pin. Thanks for watching.